When it comes to military marvels, the idea of a moving aircraft carrier has been fascinating science fiction fans for decades. Imagine a huge carrier flying through the sky, able to hang over both land and water. It would be a floating base in the sky. Get ready to be blown away as we uncover the astonishing reality of flying aircraft carriers. Are they used for aerial warfare? Do they resemble the aircraft we see in superhero movies? From the iconic helicarrier in The Avengers to the retro Art Deco-inspired mobile airstrip in Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, the allure of flying aircraft carriers in popular culture knows no bounds. So just how powerful are these flying aircraft carriers? And why is the US Navy rushing to hit the skies? In this video, we're going to go into detail on the US's plans for their new flying aircraft carriers and why they may actually become a reality in the near future. The United States Navy embarked on a daring and ambitious project in the late 1920s to achieve the concept of flying aircraft carriers. This endeavor began in the decade of the 1920s. Both the USS Macon and the USS Akron were large, rigid airships that the United States Navy painstakingly manufactured to push aviation to new heights, quite literally. These enormous airships were intended to serve as movable platforms capable of carrying and deploying lightweight biplane fighters, which would fundamentally alter the mechanics of aerial combat. Both the USS Macon and the USS Akron were amazing feats of engineering. They were almost 800 feet long and could hold more than 6 million cubic feet of gas. With their ability to fly over land and sea, these huge airships seemed like a good way for the U.S. Navy to expand its reach and military options. The forward-thinking design of the airships made it possible for them to transport a group of 5 lightweight Curtiss F-9C Sparrowhawk biplane fighters. These aircraft were equipped with an innovative hook and trapeze mechanism that allowed them to be launched into the air and recovered while in flight. As a result, they were the world's first airborne aircraft carriers. In theory, the concept seemed groundbreaking. Combining the advantages of air and sea mobility, the airships could swiftly position themselves over any region, providing unparalleled reconnaissance and support capabilities. Their ability to scout far beyond the horizon offered a tactical edge over conventional surface ships of that era. On the other hand, these enormous objectives did not come without any difficulties. The agility of the airships in unfavorable weather conditions was one of the most critical challenges they were up against. Due to the fact that they were enormous gas-filled constructions, they were prone to the caprices of nature, particularly when it was stormy outside. The management and navigation of these behemoths proved to be a challenging endeavor, and the legacy of their fragility would come back to haunt them later. Tragically, both airships experienced devastating accidents that shook the confidence in the concept of flying aircraft carriers. In April 1933, the USS Akron crashed into the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of New Jersey, claiming the lives of 73 out of 76 personnel on board. 2 years later, the USS Macon faced a less fatal but still significant accident, leading to the loss of 2 crew members. The catastrophic accidents were a sobering reminder of the risks associated with operating such colossal airborne structures, and they ultimately contributed to the end of these pioneering projects. Though tragically brief, the missions of the USS Macon and USS Akron changed the course of aviation forever. They brought attention to the enormous difficulties and inherent dangers of operating big, rigid airships. As a forerunner to later innovations in aerial warfare, these early trials of airborne aircraft carriers also cleared the path for improvements in aircraft launch and recovery techniques. Even though they were lost too soon, the idea of a flying aircraft carrier stuck around in the military. In the future, when technology and strategic requirements change, the lessons from these groundbreaking projects will be reviewed and recreated. During the Cold War, the United States Air Force brought back the idea of a flying aircraft carrier as a way to get better reconnaissance and strategic benefits. One of the ideas that were tested was to use the Republic F-84 Parasite fighter, a small plane that could be fired from the belly of a B-36 Peacemaker, a big nuclear bomber. The idea was to deploy the F-84 fighter for reconnaissance missions, allowing it to scout enemy territories or gather critical intelligence. Once its mission was complete, the F-84 could return and dock with the mothership, the B-36 Peacemaker, for recovery. However, while the idea appeared to have potential on paper, actually putting it into practice created a number of serious challenges. The logistics of launching and recovering aircraft while they were in mid-flight needed precise coordination and specialized equipment, and any mistake that occurred while these operations were being carried out may prove to be fatal for both the mothership and the parasite fighter. One expert says, launching and recovering aircraft in mid-air is an incredibly challenging task. It demands perfect synchronization between the carrier aircraft and the parasite fighter, which is no easy feat, especially during high-stress missions. Another said, moreover, the parasite fighter's limited fuel capacity and payload capabilities made it less practical for long-range operations. While it could be useful for short reconnaissance missions, it didn't offer the versatility of traditional carrier-based aircraft. Even though the engineering behind the F-84 Parasite fighter was amazing, it was never used on a large scale. It was more of an interesting experiment, and as long-range bombers with intercontinental ballistic missiles got better, they made such unusual methods less important. The development of intercontinental ballistic missiles enabled the United States to strike targets globally without the need for forward-deployed aircraft. This shift in strategic focus rendered the idea of a flying aircraft carrier less relevant in the face of these more potent and reliable weapons. Intercontinental ballistic missiles eliminated the necessity for forward-deployed aircraft, allowing the United States to hit targets anywhere in the world. With the advent of more powerful and dependable armaments, the concept of a flying aircraft carrier became less important. Unless similar escort aircraft could be designed to fly alongside the airborne carrier, it would remain exposed and susceptible to enemy attacks, be it missiles or kamikaze-style strikes. The risk of such a high-value target becoming a flying bullseye made the concept all the more challenging to justify. As we learn more about the concept of flying aircraft carriers, we start to doubt and worry about how realistic this big idea is. Military experts and scholars have asked important questions about whether or not it would be possible to build these huge planes. Let's look into the reasons why people are skeptical about this bold idea. Even while the idea of a flying aircraft carrier can sound exciting, one must not lose sight of the tremendous costs that are associated with building one and keeping it operational. It would take tremendous financial resources to construct and maintain such a massive flying platform in the air. The costs of constructing a flying aircraft carrier are projected to be exorbitant. From developing advanced technologies to ensure stability and flight capabilities, to engineering materials that can withstand the immense stresses of flight, each aspect demands substantial financial investments. Moreover, the maintenance and operation costs of such a mammoth aircraft carrier would pose an ongoing financial burden on any nation. It's possible that from a military point of view, the advantages of having a flying aircraft carrier don't exceed the drawbacks and restrictions it imposes. It would be a high-risk proposition to use an airborne platform because of its susceptibility to enemy attacks, particularly those carried out with advanced missiles or in a kamikaze fashion. Indeed, unlike conventional Navy carriers, which are normally ringed by destroyers and submarines for defense, a flying aircraft carrier would have no such protections. The airborne carrier would be vulnerable to a wide range of dangers if it were to operate in the air, including sophisticated missile systems. It would also be less able to avoid or defend against attacks because of the lack of natural barriers, such as water. Due to the large financial and practical risks, it's important to ask if the benefits of such an investment are worth the work. With their intercontinental ballistic weapons, long-range bombers can already reach any place on Earth. Moreover, a flying aircraft carrier without proper screening aircraft to fly alongside it would be vulnerable to smaller and more agile enemy fighters, making it challenging to maintain a defensive perimeter. The evolution of long-range bombers has significantly reduced the need for flying aircraft carriers. Capable of reaching any corner of the world, these bombers provide a strategic advantage without the immense complexities and risks associated with an airborne carrier. Aircraft carriers on the water are naturally mobile and safe, which makes deployment and task completion easier. On the other hand, An aircraft carrier that could fly would need a lot of resources just to stay in the air and wouldn't be as flexible as one that could sail. Even though the idea of a big airplane carrier that can fly seems unlikely, there may be other, more realistic and less expensive options worth looking into. Unmanned aerial systems like the X-61A Gremlin air vehicle have a lot of potential for tasks like reconnaissance. In fact, new advances in the technology of unmanned drones have made it possible to find more practical solutions. Smaller and more maneuverable drones, like the X-61A Gremlin air vehicle, can be used for a variety of military tasks, such as reconnaissance and monitoring at a lower cost. Drone technology is advancing at a rapid pace, and it is possible that in the near future, aerial combat will involve the use of drone swarm tactics. These tactics involve a network of smaller drones that operate in unison, and they present both new opportunities and challenges for military strategists. Now let's look at the fascinating world of Dynetics' Gremlin air vehicle, the X-61A, a realistic and innovative solution in the realm of unmanned drone technology. The X-61A Gremlin, which was created by Dynetics with assistance from the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, represents a significant advancement in unmanned aerial systems. In contrast to the grandiose concept of a flying aircraft carrier, the Gremlin employs a swarm-based strategy in which multiple small drones collaborate to accomplish tactical objectives. The Gremlin program aims to utilize a C-130 transport aircraft as a launch platform, providing the military with a cost-effective and versatile solution. These drones can be deployed in swarms, numbering in the dozens, from the C-130 at high altitudes, entering the operational theater seamlessly. As soon as they are airborne, the Gremlins are able to carry out a variety of missions, some of which include intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance (ISR) operations. They are able to collect important data despite their small size, and their superior sensors let them monitor the activities of the enemy and offer military commanders with real-time situational awareness. But the most amazing thing about the Gremlin is that it can be picked up in the air. When the Gremlins finish their tasks, they go back to the C-130, which has special docking mechanisms that bring them back like a fishing line brings back its catch. With this mid-air repair method, the drones can quickly be rearmed, refueled, and sent back into action, making them a powerful force with little downtime. The Gremlin program has shown that it has the potential for a wide variety of mission profiles, such as electronic warfare, target acquisition, and even some limited strike capabilities. The military community has shown a significant amount of interest in it due to its adaptability as well as its cost-effectiveness. The Gremlin project is a revolutionary step forward for military technology. Its swarm-based strategy has certain distinct benefits, including as improved survivability, the capacity to overwhelm opposing defenses, and decentralized decision-making. During simulated exercises, the Gremlins have demonstrated exceptional coordination and adaptability, working cohesively as a unit. This creates the possibility for a variety of swarm tactics in which the collective intelligence of the drones enables them to execute intricate maneuvers and react to dynamic situations. Even though the Gremlin program has a lot of cool features, it also has to deal with problems and social questions. It's important to make sure that the C-130 and the drones can talk to each other in a safe, private way so that enemies can't get in. Also, concerns about the use of self-driving drones in combat situations need to be carefully looked at to avoid unintended effects. There must be a fine line between operational efficiency and responsibility in the deployment of autonomous drones, especially in a swarm configuration. To prevent potential abuses or unnecessary collateral damage, it is crucial to create explicit guidelines and human control. Modern drone technology is changing the way aerial fighting is done in both good and bad ways. As we learn more about robotic aerial systems, a new idea comes to light: the idea of drone swarms. Military planners and other experts are interested in these groups of drones that work together as a single unit. The implementation and successful testing of drone swarm tactics demonstrate their potential to shape future combat scenarios. Imagine a central aircraft directing a multitude of drones, all of which work in unison to execute intricate maneuvers simultaneously. These drone swarms could function as an aerial armada, capable of overpowering foes through sheer numbers and coordination. Drone groups are a big step forward in the way wars are fought today. By sending out a lot of drones, each with its own set of skills, military leaders get a powerful and flexible tool for achieving strategic goals. There are many benefits to using drone swarms instead of conventional planes or even humans. One advantage is that they are more nimble and can cover more ground and get closer to their targets thanks to their diminutive stature and light weight. Drone swarms can be sent on a variety of missions without endangering human life, including intelligence collection, surveillance, and targeted strikes. However, the growing reliance on unmanned systems also raises significant ethical considerations and concerns about the human factor in warfare. As technology advances, the potential for fully autonomous drones capable of independent decision-making becomes a reality. The creation of drones that can fly themselves raises important questions about duty and accountability. Who has the final say when driverless drones are involved in life-or-death situations? It is the most important thing to make sure that their use is fair and legal. One of the primary ethical dilemmas revolves around the concept of meaningful human control. This principle emphasizes that human beings must retain a meaningful level of control over the use of force, even when deployed through autonomous systems. Decisions with potentially lethal consequences should only be made by humans. Thus, meaningful human control is essential. Unforeseen effects and probable violations of international humanitarian law are feared if control is given to completely autonomous systems. The fear of deadly weapons that can work without direct human control has led to talks and calls for rules on an international level. Several countries and groups have pushed for a ban on autonomous weapons out of fear that they could lead to unintended consequences and hurt human values and principles in war. Also, the use of drones in war makes people worry about the mental and emotional effects on the people who control the drones. When drone pilots control their machines from thousands of miles away, they may feel disconnected from the results of their actions. This could make them less sensitive to the real human cost of war. Remotely located drone pilots may experience a novel sort of moral conflict. They may suffer mental and moral damage from being so closely involved in life-and-death decisions outside of actual conflict. The ethical implications of drone warfare extend beyond the battlefield to the broader implications for international relations and the potential for increased conflicts. Striking a balance between harnessing the advantages of unmanned drone technology and upholding ethical standards is a complex challenge faced by modern militaries and policymakers. Some experts say that human-in-the-loop technologies should be worked on more than fully automatic systems. These systems let human operators keep control and make important choices while getting help from autonomous systems that are fast and accurate. Systems that include humans in the decision-making process combine the benefits of human judgment with those of automated processes. This strategy ensures that humans continue to have the last say, giving a method that is both more responsible and accountable when it comes to drone warfare. To address ethical concerns, complete frameworks must be set up to guide the development, deployment, and use of drone technology in military settings. To handle the complexities of modern warfare in a responsible way, it is important to find a balance between technical advances and moral obligations. As we forge ahead into the next phase of aerial combat, it is important to keep in mind that while advances in technology will undoubtedly have an impact, it is the values and principles to which we adhere that will ultimately determine our legacy. By keeping people in mind and following ethical guidelines, we can make drones more useful and less dangerous. To summarize, the obsession with flying aircraft carriers is likely to endure in works of fiction and popular culture, despite the fact that it is unclear whether or not such vessels would be useful in actual military operations. Even though early endeavors and experiments conducted during the Cold War provided the framework for researching airborne platforms, it is the development of unmanned drones that has shown the most potential for use in modern combat. It's possible that when technology advances further, we'll see new developments in aerial combat. But for the time being, the idea of a flying aircraft carrier is just a fascinating pipe dream. Thanks for watching another episode. While you are still here, make sure to click the video on your screen for more quality content.